All right, before we get this episode started, after you watch this, if you enjoy it, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and my channel. A big thank you to you for that. Now, here's this week's episode. All right, it's March 12th. We're coming down to check out the lake here, Lake Michigan here, southeastern Wisconsin. And I know there's ice, but I just wanted to check out how this is silted up over the winter. So, oh boy, check this out.
I guess it's kind of deep here, but
yeah. You got some pools here going out to the lake. Ooh, look at the ducks. Anyways, yeah, it's open to the lake, but this is all silted in again. But this ain't as bad as it was that one year. That one year there was just a little creek up on the other end, and that was it. But you can see we still got ice. We got a ways yet to go before we're going to be steelhead fishing. You got guys out there though. They got some rod holders, and they're fishing close to the shore for browns, probably brown trout. And you catch some big ones out here. There's the power plant down there. That's always a good spot to fish if you can get out on a boat. The warm water discharge from the power plant always draws fish. So, but all right, we just wanted to check it out. It's pretty cold. It's about 17 degrees out here, so all right, we checked it out. We're gonna drive up and we're gonna check the stream out. We could see that it was open. The water's moving upstream, but this little pond area before it empties out to the lake is still all frozen over. So, all right, we'll show you what the stream looks like. We're gonna drive up the road and check that part out. Okay, so we're upstream here, and like I said, in March here, you can see the ice behind me here, but the water's starting to flow down here. We had some people walking down there checking things out. So it's starting to melt, starting to flow, but this water's got to warm up before you're going to start getting fish coming up this far spawning for steelhead. And they'll work their way all the way up this stream. It kind of goes underneath the roadway, and there's a waterfall there. That's the end of it as far as they'll go for spawning. But we got to get some warmer weather. It's like 17 degrees today, 19 degrees, but you can see it's starting to melt. Water's starting to move real good. Water is a little on the low side. We haven't had much of snow here in southeastern Wisconsin, so we'll see what the water levels look like. Maybe we get some early spring warm rain, and that'll help. All right, so that's the report here from southeastern Wisconsin. We're still at least a couple weeks off, if not a little longer. So we'll keep checking and keep reporting on what's going on. We want to get out here steelhead fishing as soon as we can. So me being retired, I'll be able to come out here and check this on a pretty regular basis. Okay, it is Monday, March 21st. We've had a warm spell here in southeastern Wisconsin with temps in the 40s, 50s, pushing 60 the last couple of days. So we're down here by the lake to check things out. I see a lot of guys down here fishing already. I don't know that water temperature is really conducive yet to the run, them moving up. Forgot my thermometer. I was going to check water temps up here and see. But the ice is all out from the last check a couple of weeks ago when I was out here with Wes. So we've got all of the ice out. Here's the channel going to the lake. So we got a bunch of fishermen down there fishing, and we got some guys up here. So we'll take a walk, we'll check this all out, and then we're going to head upstream and we'll check out up there. I'm assuming steelhead, browns are all staging out in the lake waiting for that first warm water discharge. And I don't know if you can see in the background, we've got that power plant back there. You can see the smokestacks maybe. You always got a warm water discharge there from the power plant, so fishing is always good down there if you can get in a boat and get out there. So everybody's out here. They got rods up, bait is out there, and they're starting to fish. But like I said, that water temp is a key for the spawning run to start. Genetically, they're coming here, so we'll see how this all plays out this year. So anyways, like I was saying, the water temp is the key. We get this string of warm weather. If we get a rain and we get that warm rain and that discharge gets into the stream going out to the lake, the run will be on. So we're gonna check out a little further down here and see what's going on. Stick with us.
So let's review some important water and weather indicators that will signal the optimum conditions that start the spring steelhead run. To monitor the start of the steelhead run, I watch for these 6 specific conditions on our home stream here in southeastern Wisconsin. Number 1, I watch for water levels moderately rising to just above the average flows.
Okay, here's the, if you want to call it a flow meter, a depth meter. 3 feet is right there, 2 feet is right there. So we're talking just over a foot of water at this meter. So yeah, we need some rain.
Number 2, I watch for water temperatures to get into the 40 degree to 44 degree Fahrenheit range in the river or stream tributary. Number 3, next, I monitor the lake temperature. I want to make sure that it's lower than the river or stream temperature and has been stable for the past few days. Number 4, I watch sky or weather conditions. I'm looking for overcast with some precipitation, preferably a warm rain.
Down by the lake here, southeastern Wisconsin, as you can see behind me, we've got cloudy skies. It's raining yet. We had rain all day yesterday, and we had a pretty heavy rain overnight. So I drove down to the lake here to check out steelhead conditions. Like I said, we're getting close. We just needed a good warm rain. I think we got it.
Number 5, the wind direction. I'm looking for the wind to be blowing into shore and upriver or the stream tributary.
Let's check this out. I'm up here on the bridge, underneath the street, over the stream here, and I'm gonna flip this around. Take a look at this. And I don't know if you can see out by the lake. You can see the waves breaking in. Okay, so here's looking upstream, and you can see the wind is blowing the water upstream here. You can see it's kind of clashing a little bit, but the debris in the water here, there is some debris in the water, and it is going out towards the lake. And I think with this coming in and that warmer water going out to the lake, this may start to run. So see what happens.
And last but not least, number 6, the weather history. I'm looking for a gradual warming trend in the previous days. When all these factors come together, that's my indicator that the steelhead run is starting.
And we came through yesterday, saw a guy pull a nice brown trout out of here. We were driving down here today. Another guy had a small steelhead behind his truck right on the road as we were coming in. So we'll see how this all plays out this year. So anyways, like I was saying, the water temp is the key. Even though we had the warm weather and the ice is melted, water temp's still probably too cold. We get this string of warm weather. If we get a rain and we get that warm rain and that discharge gets into the stream going out to the lake, the run will be on. So we're gonna check out a little further down here and see what's going on. Stick with us.
Before we continue to check out existing conditions on our home stream, let's review the Lake Michigan fishery. The Lake Michigan shoreline was truly a perch fisherman's paradise. I remember as a young lad of 5 or 6 years old back in the late 50s, I would head to the lakefront with my dad. With the skyline of Milwaukee north of us, we'd head down to the old power plant area on the south side of Milwaukee. Just south of the lakeside power plant, we'd set up on the rock-cluttered shoreline. Back then, there was no limit on the amount of perch you could harvest, except between April 10th and May 31st, when the limit was 50 perch. Anglers would leave with buckets of fish, or one or two full stringers all the time. Pork rind was a popular perch bait back then. And occasionally you'd catch a northern pike, a largemouth bass, or even a crappie. So what happened to this Great Lake Michigan fishery? Well, overharvesting for sure. And one short word, commercialism. With the opening of the St. Lawrence Seaway in 1959, ocean-going ships had access to the Great Lakes ports of call, from Montreal and Quebec in Canada, all the way west to Duluth in Minnesota on Lake Superior. The Midwest now had easy access to foreign goods and business opportunities. And with the ships came the dumping of seagoing water ballast. And with that ballast, a new catchphrase would emerge years later: the invasive species. Now, these are just a few of the estimated more than 180 non-native species that have entered the Great Lakes through the ballast dumping of seagoing ships. But two of the most prevalent that I can remember are the alewives and the sea lamprey eels. It didn't take long. By the mid to late 1960s, if you came down to the shoreline of Lake Michigan south of Milwaukee, the stench of washed-up dead alewives permeated the air. Perch fishing from shore was non-existent, and if you managed to get out with somebody who had a boat, and you managed to catch a fish, the chances were that it probably came to your net with a sea lamprey eel attached. Now, the alewives and sea lampreys did not invade the Great Lakes through the opening of the St. Lawrence Seaway in 1959. The sea lampreys spread into the Great Lakes via man-made canals and natural rivers. They are originally native to the Atlantic coastal waters and the St. Lawrence River. They were confirmed moving into Lake Ontario through the St. Lawrence River in 1835. Next, they were found in Lake Erie in 1921, then Lake Huron in 1936, followed by Lake Michigan in 1937, and finally Lake Superior in 1938. The alewives are native to the Atlantic Ocean. They entered Lake Ontario in 1873 by passing through the St. Lawrence River. The canal connecting Lake Ontario to Lake Erie and the rivers connecting Lake Erie to Lake Huron enabled these non-native species to enter Lake Superior and Lake Michigan, which have larger natural waterway connections. Thus, the species then became widespread in the Great Lakes by the 1960s. As native lake trout were decimated in Lake Michigan by overfishing, pollution, and sea lampreys, through the mid-1900s, alewife numbers soared. The only natural predator of the alewife in the Great Lakes system was the lake trout, but the lake trout was the favorite target of the sea lamprey. So the alewives were left unchecked to ravage the smaller Great Lakes fish. So over time, the perch declined, as did other natural game fish. By the mid-1960s, alewives constituted 70 to 90% of all the fish weight in Lake Michigan. This simmering pot called the Great Lakes finally boiled over in 1967 with the Great Alewives die-off. Now, something had to be done to address the Great Lakes' multiple fishery issues. And no one knows 100% for sure what caused the alewives' massive die-off in 1967. But I can make a few educated guesses. Number one, overpopulation due to the decline in the alewives' only natural predator, the native Great Lakes lake trout. Number two, one word, pollution. Number three, a diminishing food source for the alewives. As the alewives population exploded, so did their food requirements. And the constant, ever-increasing demand on the young, smaller, natural game fish cut down on the survival rate of those fish to grow and produce offspring, thus eventually running the large alewife population out of a sustainable food source. Finally, in the late 1960s through the 1970s, individual Great Lakes bordering state DNRs started to stock Pacific salmon into the tributaries of the Great Lakes. They stocked coho and Chinook salmon. This was done in an effort to control the alewife population and to try to rebuild and enhance sport fishing and the tourism industry. Now, why coho and Chinook salmon? Why not restock the native alewife predator in the Great Lakes, the lake trout? First of all, during this time period, there was no effective way to contain and control the dreaded sea lamprey, of which the lake trout is their number one primary target. Plus, the overabundance of alewives, which is the lake trout's number one natural food source, is a problem for a small restart population of lake trout. The alewives tissue contains a chemical that breaks down a predator's thiamine levels. A fish's thiamine is an important vitamin for the development of smaller fish and their eggs. And it can also break down the thiamine levels in adult lake trout if they eat too many alewives, which in turn will kill the larvae trout as they hatch from their eggs. So it's a two-way sword. The investment in the Pacific coho and Chinook salmon was better to try to restart the Great Lakes fishery, because the salmon's thiamine levels are not affected as greatly as the lake trouts. As the initial effort to start rebuilding the Great Lakes fishery with the Pacific salmon started to take hold, the coho and Chinook began to restrain the alewife population to lower levels. That, coupled with the establishment of an effective effort to combat the sea lamprey eel's reproduction capability, which was through the primary use of a chemical called lampricide TFM, which targets their larvae in their nursery tributaries. With the addition of traps and natural barriers in those tributaries to round out that effort, the population of sea lampreys and alewives were now under control. Then the reestablishment of lake trout and other game fish, such as brown trout, rainbow trout, perch, pike, and bass began. And that brings us to today. You got a little historical evolution of the Great Lakes fishery. But you might ask, ain't this video about steelhead fishing? You haven't mentioned anything about steelhead in the Great Lakes fishery. Oh, yes, I have. You see, a steelhead is a rainbow trout that is found in the Great Lakes. Now notice the pinkish-red lateral line and gill cover on inland rainbow trout, as compared to the less pinkish-red color on the lateral line and gill cover of a steelhead. Also note that their spots end around the lateral line and do not extend down to the belly and lower fins, as they do on an inland rainbow trout. Plus, note the thinner build on a steelhead. Also, the coloring on the top back extend to the head in a steel blue color, thus the nickname steelhead. Now, these physical changes are primarily due to environment and dietary differences. Now, brown trout and rainbow trout are not native to the Great Lakes region. Rainbow trout are native to the Pacific Ocean and were introduced into the Great Lakes in 1876. And the brown trout is a native fish of Europe and was introduced into North America in 1883 to 1884. Now, besides being in the Great Lakes, brown trout and rainbow trout are found in Midwest area inland waters. But the Great Lakes version of the brown trout and rainbow trout, also known as steelhead, are considerably larger than their inland cousins. As an example, here are the Wisconsin state records for both inland and Great Lakes brown trout and rainbow trout. Now, the Wisconsin state record for inland brown trout is 34.3 inches in length by 18 pounds, 6 ounces. And the Great Lakes brown trout state record is 40.6 inches in length by 41 pounds, 8 ounces. Now, the Wisconsin state record for inland rainbow trout is 29.5 inches in length by 12 pounds, 3 ounces. And the state record for the Great Lakes rainbow trout, also known as steelhead, is 42.5 inches in length by 27 pounds, 2 ounces. So you can see how the Great Lakes fishery rebounded from the disasters of the 1960s to where we are today. And we can still do better. But vigilance by the individual fishermen and good practices by the state's DNRs are the key to keeping a quality fishery. So let's get back to scouting our home stream in 2022 and watching for the steelhead run to begin.
Get up here on the span, this bridge. Water's pretty stagnant. You know, the water ain't moving much. I don't see a lot of water movement. That's one thing I was looking for. We're gonna head up and we're gonna check out the upstream, but this is pretty stagnant, and I'm assuming the water's still gonna be pretty cold. You can see we still got ice shelves here, along here, so we need that first warm rain to really get things fired up and moving. All right, let's head upstream and see what's going on up there. Stick with us. So you can see here, water levels are really down. As I said, I think we need that first warm rain. Maybe just a little bit too early. We're gonna work our way up here and just check it out, see what we see. Okay, here's the, if you want to call it a flow meter, a depth meter. 3 feet is right there. 2 feet is right there. So we're talking just over a foot of water at this meter. So yeah, we need some rain. This is a good spot here where you can see how it's cut out underneath there. The water level, when it's running after a good rainstorm, that's submerged. The trout like to hang out in the shade underneath there when we get some good water going. You got a cutout over there from the water coming in, but its water's really down. All right, we're gonna wind our way through these trees. Wes and I call these the redwoods. They're not, but they're pretty big trees. They've been here for a while. And there's a major obstacle for them to get up. So yeah, under normal conditions, these rocks are underwater. Those out there, those will just be breaking the surface of the water. That little area there where you can see the little rocks, that's usually submerged under normal conditions. So yeah, we need some rain. We didn't get a lot of snowfall this year at all, and that's going to contribute, I think, to a poor outing for spring steelhead. The lack of the snow melt. I think I used my snowblower once this year. I don't think it's overall going to be a good year for steelhead up here. So, all right, keep going up.
Right there.
That was cool. There's the waterfall. It's about as far up as they're going to come. And again, you can see here, they try to work their way up this. This is pretty shallow. You can see the rock steps. That is not cement, that's all natural here. They've built these walls for erosion, but what you see down here is stream rock, not pebbles. You got huge bedrock style rock right here. And again, you can see how this runs out. Yeah. And we're an area for them. The rest would be here before they attempt this if they come up this far. So again, water levels are way down. We didn't have much of a snowfall this year in southeast Wisconsin. So we don't have a lot of melt and runoff from that. If we can get a little bit of rain, some warm rain, that gets discharged in the stream and raise that water temp, and I think we'll be doing better off. So anyways, that's the check from March 20th. No, 21st. Today's March 21st. That's the check down here in southeastern Wisconsin. And I think we're still, at least, I don't want to say days, I want to say a good warm rain being discharged into this. Once that happens, I think you'll have a little better chance on the fish. We'll be checking it in a couple of days again. All right, it's Wednesday, March 23rd. We were out here the other day down by the lake here, southeastern Wisconsin. As you can see behind me, we've got cloudy skies. It's raining yet. We had rain all day yesterday, and we had a pretty heavy rain overnight. So I drove down to the lake here to check out steelhead conditions. Like I said, we're getting close. We just needed a good warm rain. I think we got it. Let's check this out. I'm up here on the bridge, underneath the street, over the stream here, and I'm gonna flip this around. Take a look at this. Okay, so here's looking upstream, and you can see the wind is blowing the water upstream here. You can see it's kind of clashing a little bit, but the debris in the water here, there is some debris in the water, and it is going out towards the lake. And I don't know if you can see out by the lake, you can see the waves breaking in. So I think because of the colder water yet, the browns and the steelhead were staging out in the lake area. And I think with this coming in and that warmer water going out to the lake, this may start to run. So okay, we parked upstream here on the parkway up here, and we're heading in. You can see down in here. We're gonna head in and check out the water level. The other day we had checked that the depth gauge mid-river. I want to check that out and see how much higher the water came with this rain overnight. I'm thinking if Wes can make it tomorrow, tomorrow may be a good day for steelhead out here. All right, heading back down to the stream. Oh yeah, check out that water gauge. We were at a little over a foot. Depth gauge is looking like about 2.5 feet right now. So that water came up about 1.25 feet. So we're talking probably about 16 inches in additional depth here. Now this is more of a normal situation. So we're going to take a walk up like we did the other day, and then you can see the difference here. Once it starts to rain, we get this warm water discharge going into the lake, and I'm guessing that steelhead run will get a little more active after today. So let's check this out here. This is where I was standing and showing you guys the other day. Right in there, you saw all bare rocks in here. Like I said, when that water gets more to normal levels, those rocks are just barely sticking out. And we had that stone beach that came way out here. That's all underwater now. And the water is really moving and flowing to the lake. Good deal. And this is what I was talking about. That warm rain discharge into the river system here, flowing out into the lake. Temperatures have been in the 40s, 50s, touching 60 the last couple of days. Rain all day yesterday, a heavier rain overnight. That water's heading out there. I think the run will be starting shortly now. Good thing to see. Hopefully, if Wes can make it tomorrow, he's trying out for the high school baseball team these past couple of days, so I don't know what his schedule looks like, but if he can make it tomorrow, I think tomorrow's the day. Once this milky stuff dissipates a little more out into the lake. So I think starting off down by the lake in that initial pond would be a better high percentage chance of contacting fish even tomorrow. It's going to take a while for those fish to work their way up these riffles and rest and get up here. So we'll see what happens. Stick with us. Next time you see us, hopefully we're on the water pitching some baits for these steelhead. There we go. All right, it's Thursday, March 24th. And as you can see, it's overcast yet. We got a light rain mixed with snow right now. But we've had warmer temps. We've now had a warm rain for a couple of days. Temperatures are only in probably upper 30s, should make the 40s today yet. But we're down here by the pond here at the mouth of the river going to the lake. I figured that warm weather discharge of that rainwater out in the lake, anything staging should start moving up on the spawn. So it may be a little too early, conditions aren't the best, but Wes, you see him back there? Say hi, Wes. There he is. He's got spring break this week, and this is the only day we can get out, so we're out here. We're going to give it a shot and see what happens. We're going to pitch some crankbaits, Rapala style, and some spinners. I've got some spawn sacks also, and we're going to see if we can get some of them steelhead to bite. Hopefully they're starting to move up with that warm water discharge, and we'll be able to put a fish on and show you a fish. So we're not going to have much video of us casting in that due to the weather. I don't want to get the camera too wet. So on and off, we'll shoot some video, and for sure if we get a fish, you'll be seeing it. So stick with us. Hopefully we'll be able to show you a fish in a little bit. So, all right, we're geared up, ready to start. So I'm going to shoot a little bit. Wes is just bringing his in. He decided to go with the crankbait first, so kind of show him what you're using. What do you got on there?
Homemade spinnerbait.
There we go. Silver with a little bit of brown, and that leaves me with the spawn sack. And I'm going to go, because of the muddy water, I'm going with a lime green spawn sack. Something a little more fluorescent for them to see in the dirty water, along with the oily smell. So let's see what happened.
Buddy already lost his lure.
I had the adjust-a-bubble with the spawn sack on, and I only had it set at about 6 inches because with the water levels that just came up, I didn't know where the depth was. So I was hanging up always on like a little sandbar. So I told Wes, let's switch sides, and then I'll be able to drift further down. And I snagged on something, could not get it off. So I thought, well, we'll bust it off, and everything's gone. So I'm now switching, and I'm going to be casting also. So I had bought this in Alaska. Wes has got one. And again, just a single hook on it, but this is from Alaska, made for salmon fishing and steelhead. So it's a Panther Martin, and I'm going to throw that and see what happens. Hopefully I don't lose that too. All right, we keep hanging up in here. It's deep here and deep out there, but then this must come out here and shallow out all in here. I keep hanging up and that's bouncing the bottom. I'm pulling back leaves and everything else. We're gonna slide upstream here closer to the bridge. I don't know if you can see that bridge in the background. We'll see what the conditions are up there. The funny thing is, from year to year, this area silts up differently. So you never know where the depth is as far as where you might have a shoal going out that built up over the years. Anyways, we're heading upstream. Let's see what happens. Stick with us. We got this tree here, and it's kind of a tight area, so room enough for one to cast. So Wes is going to pitch some. Let's see what happens and see if we got a little better depth in this area. You bumping bottom or no? A little bit. Does it feel deeper than it was at the other spot? Huh?
Definitely not.
No?
It's a lot shallower here. Like, I'm on bottom right now.
Oh, don't get hung up.
I won't. It's like, probably like 1.5 foot here.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we take a walk, try to get on the other side.
And it definitely dropped in temperature because I can see my breath now.
I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it's getting colder. Yeah, unfortunately we had to warm up. You had the warm rain, and now today the temperature dropped drastically. We dropped 15 to 20 degrees maybe from where we were. We were in the 50s, pushing 60 a couple days ago. We're definitely in the 30s, and that's not real conducive to fishing. Drastic temperature change like that, even though you had warmer water going out, this temperature just keeps on dropping. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. It's his only day he can fish, being on spring break, and baseball practice starting this afternoon at 4, eh? So we fish when we can. We'll still give it a try for a while. This area is still kind of shallow here by the bridge. All right, we checked out another spot. It ain't working out. Stick with us. We're moving again. All right, we found another spot. Looks a little deeper. Go ahead.
Yeah, it looks deeper here. We were trying to find this spot so we could cross, but with these big rocks, it just looks like it gets a lot deeper all around here, and I don't feel like walking in deep water just so we can get over to those rocks to cross. But we're testing the depth right here.
Yeah, it's deeper here.
Yeah.
Another one. There's another shallow spot right there. If nothing else, we're learning the lay of the bottom of the river here.
It's a very, like it gets deep, then shallow, then deep, then shallow, then deep again.
One more. All right, let's head up a little further towards the lake, see what we can do. I know this is crazy, but we're here. It is snowing to beat the band. We're just about ready to call it quits, but we're here. I'm gonna pitch some out into the lake. Got big flakes of snow coming down. Look, they're sticking on them. It is snowing like crazy. So as long as we're here, I'm gonna walk right out into here. We're gonna pitch some out as good as we can and see what happens. A couple of minutes, we get some footage of it. Come on down here, Wes. We're gonna film the ending. Unbelievable. Temperatures drop, fishing sucks. Like I said, it was his day off on spring break, the only day we can get out here. He's got baseball practice. This Thursday morning, we gave it a shot down here by the lake. We worked all the areas from the lake itself all the way up to the walking bridge here, and nothing. But it's nuts. The snow is coming down. I got snow building up on the camera. I'm going to just pan real quick. You guys can see the big snowflakes coming down. And we certainly gave it a try, but we're going to call it. Hey, thanks for coming along. We show you everything. This was one of those days where you saw everything but fish. You can see we're out here giving it our best effort under all sorts of weather conditions. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, but hey, you get out here, you fish when you can, enjoy your family and friends, and get them in the great outdoors. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Hey, thanks for watching. Feel free to comment below, or if you don't want to comment in the public eye, we can also be reached at rapantoutdoors360@gmail.com. Now, if you know somebody you think might enjoy this video series, please feel free to go ahead and share this video or this link with your friend. And as always, whether you fish or hunt, remember, practice CCR. Catch, conserve, replenish. Make sure that that resource is available for future generations. See you next time, guys.